business.
Uh-huh.
9 o'clock, we're gonna call the meeting to order. Roll call
Commissioner Mason,
Here.
Commissioner Hankins,
Here.
Commissioner LeVanway,
here.
Commissioner Aaron's is not there.
Okay, approval of the agenda. We need to put a B on for bill pay. June to the 16th at 10:30 instead of the 13th.
October 16th,
Yes, at 10:30.
10:30. Okay, I have a comment on that
Okay,
after we get to it.
okay, so we need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Add or remove agenda items.
We just did.
Okay, B, bill pay dates. Go ahead.
Kevin just said to me, if we're going to have more than one day here, that we're gonna have meetings here, they may have to start charging us because of the cleaning expenses. So I said, I wasn't aware we were using this more than one time a month. He said, let me double check that for sure, but apparently somebody brought it to his attention. So if we're gonna have this bill pay meeting,
We usually do Zoom.
Zoom or down at,
Yeah, it's at the health
yeah, so
department
I,
office.
I don't know.
We do Zoom.
He
I don't
might
think
have-
we've
They
had,
might have wrong
We just had
information.
a PNF or PNE committee meeting,
oh,
week
yeah,
or two
yeah,
ago, so we did have two meetings a year, in September.
right. That's true. We did have a program and evaluation committee.
Was that on a separate date than the?
It was on a separate date. We were gonna have it at the health department, but all of our conference rooms were already booked by staff, like doing stuff, so
Okay,
we asked and it was available and we came over here and we were here for, I don't know, half an hour.
regardless of the time frame, it's the
Right.
cleaning expense.
Right, I
afterwards,
understand.
so.
We could use
I
the
don't-
library or their rooms are free.
Oh, yeah, they have tons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they let
Well,
us, if they let
if they let
us.
us.
They let us back.
Zoom
Yeah.
or where.
Going back long before your time,
I know.
So should I talk to Kevin about like what that means, like what kind of,
he's gonna get back to me
okay,
and then I'll contact you or direct him to contact you or something.
okay. I mean, it's definitely not a regular thing, but
Yeah.
if there's, I understand.
Yeah,
We've been doing Zoom from bill pay for since January, and it's like half an hour the longest.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, sometimes 10 minutes.
right.
Yeah, so it's not, I don't think a big deal. Okay, review approval of the meeting minutes from September. We need a motion. I can get that motion. Second,
Who was second?
I don't know.
I was not present, although I think I can still second the motion under Robert's rules, so I will second it.
Put the blame on you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Abstain. There, how's that?
Can you abstain if you vote?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I'm in favor.
Okay. Okay, public comment. Any public comment? No. Okay, health officer recruitment process. I guess we're going through this process that we're supposed to recommend to the board.
Right, we also have the job description and the posting.
That's in the essential functions.
Right,
Yeah.
this one that says, summary at the top, essential duties and functions, but I guess first, I wrote this kind of timeline out, just kind of, this is the way I see things as far as this goes, for recruitment, and obviously, I mean, there's certain things that have to happen. And my goal, I mean, I would really like to have at least try to get somebody in place, with this board, since you're familiar with the health department. I mean, we're gonna have a new board after January, and there's gonna be new people and just not that familiarity, right? So, and I think it's possible, because after like today, we post right away, we post it for a couple weeks, we get applicants in, those who get reviewed, and then the board could potentially either interview a candidate at the November Board of Health meeting, or set a special meeting to do that as possible.
I don't wanna tack it on with a regular Board of Health meeting.
Okay,
I'd rather have a separate,
Really?
yeah.
Well, it would be easy rather than go through, I mean,
Well-
once, there's someone in this room that might just fit all of these requirements, right?
oh, absolutely.
But,
Yeah.
Well, then at the end of the day.
but. Let's say we get 3 applicants that we wanna interview,
Yeah,
and
right.
our Board of Health meeting already goes 2 hours.
Well, say that you don't have to interview her.
No,
Oh, that's
nothing against
illegal.
anybody in this room, but we're gonna have a hiring process. We're gonna we're gonna reach out to get the best candidate, and the best candidate may be in this room. But I am not going to jump on board the good old boy network and say, oh, you're next in line, here you go. Nothing against you, but we need to find
I agree.
the best candidate, so. I'm not rubber stamping anything.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
I guess that's, I mean, that's fine, and we're prepared to do that, and those are the places that we would post that kind of listed there. You know, that's pretty standard. So, you know, once that posting goes out, you know, it's out there for a couple weeks. I mean, there's a couple things. You know, we have this job description from 2022. If you remember, we went through the committee, Personnel Finance Committee, and we looked at a lot of different job descriptions, and it was a process. I mean, we met like 3 or 4 times, I believe, and hammered this out. And I think it still looks good. I don't see anything in there that I think needs to be addressed, but you guys, you may have a different opinion.
On the
Oh.
posting and recruiting options, I'm not crazy about the idea of the recruiting companies paying 25 to 30%.
Right, I just put that down there. I
I
just
know
put
it's
that
an
down there,
option,
right, yeah,
I like
Yeah.
the Mouth posting, I like the Michigan County's posting.
yeah,
Indeed is certainly a good option.
yeah,
Chamber of Commerce, and yeah, I think it should be posted. In fact, when you and I spoke last time, I was glad
Yeah,
you
you'll
had put
put-
it out.
You can't post anything unless we approve his resignation. And we didn't do that.
You can't, you
Well-
cannot force a person to show up to work, though, Don. Sorry,
Okay,
we're not
so-
gonna take your resignation, Dan. See you next month. That doesn't work.
Well, but there's a
He's
lot of,
done.
well, regardless, I mean, so just until, because it was only a few days, we took the posting off our website, right? We are waiting until today, right? We'll put it back on. It was just a couple days, so. So I guess this is more of like my question, you know, from the committee standpoint is, you know, I think to go through, because otherwise, if you do anything as a board, it has to be a public meeting, right? So I think there should be a hiring committee that looks at the applicants, and then they recommend to the board the ones that should be interviewed. The interviews have to take place. If it is the full board interviewing, it has to take place in an open meeting, right? So I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Right.
So I guess the question is, what is gonna be the makeup of the hiring committee?
could you
Could
tell
it
me,
be the person, I mean, the Personnel Finance Committee, our bylaws, sorry, Don, our bylaws does direct the Personnel Finance Committee to, you know, that's one of their directives is replacement of the health officer. Or if the board decides, they could have a different makeup of a special committee. But that's up to the board.
Is
So
that on the agenda for discussion today?
yes, all this is, I mean, under the Personnel Finance Committee, it's like whatever, I think bringing it here first and seeing what you think or recommend, and then we can talk about it as a full board.
okay, could you explain what you did last time, what the process was when you were hired here?
Well, so I took over, I was named interim after Lisa left. The Personnel Finance Committee was given options to either, this is after some time period, 6 months or so, and I think the board at that time wanted to, because it was traumatic, right? I mean, there was just a lot of turmoil and things going on at the time. I mean, it was a good 6 months before we even started talking about, you know, what we were gonna do. And then it was kind of laid out there as an option, like, you know, and at that time, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll stick with it. I will, you know, continue to be the health officer if the board chooses. Or the other fork in the road was, let's put it out there, to the world and I can apply. Ultimately, the board decided just to stick with me.
So they didn't.
They didn't put it out, they didn't post it out to the world.
Okay,
Um,
so what happened with the job description?
the job description was done prior to that decision being made, like,
Do you have any
like a month before, because there was a recognition that a job description had to be developed regardless. Right?
So did you have an HR person do that?
We had the Personnel and Finance Committee did it. We had, Laura Kemp was involved, who was our HR person. We looked at several job descriptions from several other health departments.
So do you have an HR person?
Yeah.
We do?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
Okay,
we have an
Okay.
HR manager. Yeah.
okay. And so you got a job description and you didn't put it on, they just gave you the job?
Right.
Okay.
No,
So
there
that's-
was an interview process.
There was an
Really?
interview process,
Yes.
yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that was true. Yeah, sorry, I forgot that part.
Okay, so you did interview.
Yep,
Yes.
So you kind of went through the whole process, you didn't, oh, okay. Okay. So,
But it was never posted.
right.
okay,
And that was, I mean,
so it was internal,
right,
okay. Okay, so I would like to make a comment. I think that we need to decide who is going to do this work, because I can't possibly do it. As head of the chair of the personnel committee, I have no time for that, and I'll tell you why. I have a lawsuit going, and I have a confidential agreement with something going on that I don't have time to do all these special meetings and this work. So my opinion is, I think we need a special committee to do this. And it should be one of each person's on this 4-county board, and I
Mhm.
think that the board people should decide who that person is. Because I can't possibly do this, I'd be so
Okay.
stressed out, I'd just be ugly.
Okay.
And so to me, my recommendation is to go to the special committee, just because of that reason. I know that Neil, I don't know how he feels about this, but I know Neil and I are not here next year. So we have no skin in the game, and we're both on this committee, which makes it difficult also. I don't know how they feel with Petoskey, but I would think that there's at least some people that will probably come back next year. I don't know, I guess that's not my decision.
I think, just thinking through this, I think, when is your last day?
November 25th,
November
or
25th?
24th, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. it's
Can
a-
you stay longer or no?
No, I can't.
Okay.
So I think it would be wise, we don't need to rush. There's no huge rush here. We can ask for the state to approve an interim director, which probably would be Holly. I believe you have all the qualifications for the position, right? Because there are state level requirements for the the local health officer. I think we would appoint Holly as interim director, if she's willing to accept that position, and the state approves it, and then we go through the hiring process. We look for, and Holly, I don't even know if Holly's interested in the job. She may or may not apply. She may say, you guys are nuts. Okay?
That's what you said to me last time, but.
Yeah, I did tell you. Nuts. But there's no, because Dan is leaving, and I'm not happy about Dan leaving, but I understand Dan leaving. Cause I'm fixing to do the same thing, okay? But that doesn't mean, oh, we gotta fill a spot. No, we don't. Pump the brakes, get an interim director approved and appointed. Then we go through the hiring process. If it takes us 6 months, okay,
I just have a concern that I think whoever is on that, my thought is that this special committee people would work with, who needs to work with that group of people? Is it the interim? Is it Josh? Who is it? Who are you working with those 4 people? Let those 4 people look at the applications. Let's go through that whole process.
right. It should
And
just-
then the final day, the interviews is the board.
Right, it should be a
That's what I
special
feel.
committee, and I don't think that you or Neil should be,
Right.
well, because
I don't
you
have
won't,
time,
yeah, well, you won't be here after.
right, right.
So,
I understand what you're saying, Scott, as far as like, it doesn't have to be rushed, but I also think that, I mean, we could put it out there, get applicants, and an interview could take place. And it could take, if it's an internal applicant, the interim may only be interim for a few weeks, maybe a month. If it's an external applicant, I mean, they're gonna have to, I mean, it's gonna be like, 2 or 3 months probably before that person, after they're
Okay.
selected or after they're offered the job, and that's definitely gonna bleed into the new year.
Okay.
For sure.
but I don't see that as a bad thing.
I don't see it as a bad thing either. I was just saying,
Frankly, I see it as a money saving move, because we're not gonna be paying you.
Yeah.
We might, if she takes the job, we're gonna pay her more, but the
Less.
position won't be filled at that point.
right, I guess what I'm saying is, I think it would be beneficial if this board selected the candidate.
No, the whole board needs to pick, the
The-
board needs to.
The
pick
whole
the
board,
director.
right?
Well,
Right.
he means,
But my point, my
Bring the
counterpoint to
person
that is
forward.
that at least 2 of the board members are not going to be present.
Yeah,
True.
To work with the new director. And those replacements may or may not be happy with
right,
the pick of I don't want to do a lame duck thing.
yeah, I
I
agree.
don't want to
And
do
then
the lame duck
person you
session.
pick, nobody
Yeah.
wants, and now they went through hell after they moved.
Yeah, I'm not, if it takes us 6 months to appoint a full-time director, it takes us 6 months.
I guess I wasn't looking at it like that because there was only, in my view, maybe a couple that would not be returning, but who knows? I don't know, right? We don't know at
Okay,
this
there's
point, yeah,
2 for sure, so that's
There's
25% of the board
right.
that's not going to be here next year. So is it fair then to that incoming 25% to say, oh, well, we picked somebody, you get to live with it?
I think there's an argument on both
I
sides.
think fair to the person even.
I don't want to rush into
Neither.
anything. I think that is
I
a
could-
recipe for disaster.
I don't, this is just my opinion, I don't wanna approve this timeline, because I think the special committee people need to look at this, and they're the people that need to decide on this. That's the way I feel.
Well, I don't have a problem with, I don't think this is a timeline.
Well, whatever
There's a
it
little
is,
bit of a timeline.
I
I think
guess
that
there is.
committee needs to decide this.
And this is just a draft. I mean, I just put this down like, okay, this is what this could look like. And I was thinking in my mind, like, this board would be, making the selection. Okay, if you have a different idea,
Yeah, we do,
yeah, then obviously this is gonna change,
Yeah.
right? So,
we do.
Do you
Right.
feel though, like as, the commissioner who's been here for a while, been on the board, Mr. Aaron's has too, that, you really understand what this person's gonna need to be and do, and to
I
bring that
personally,
in?
Holly, don't feel that the board is gonna change a ton. I don't. I think that there's so many factors here. There's 100 and some people that work here. And everybody's worried about who's gonna get what, who's not gonna get what, and I think the worst thing you can possibly do is just push somebody in because you're gonna lose a lot of people. And it doesn't matter who it's gonna be, whether it's a person that's been in here, not been in here, a new person, I think that you really need to, when you have an organization and you have a new director, you really need to listen to everybody and see what their opinions are and what they aren't. And I'll just give you a suggestion, but I don't have time to do this, so I know that when you hire a big executive director, that it's really good to get opinions from people that work there. Because
Sure.
they're the people that have to work there.
Yeah.
And you hate to put a person up there that some people don't like and it causes all this tension in here. Or a person that's new and nobody knows what to do and there's all this animosity. And I know that when we did our superintendent, they did surveys that were written surveys, so you could voice your opinion. And you could say how you felt, and then when they did the interviews, they let the people from the staff come and give their opinions over the people, so the board knew. And I think that at least keeps your workers involved, and they had a say versus we just pick this person. Because
I probably look at it differently than
you
you
can
do
pick
there.
anybody you want, but you're gonna lose people, but you hate to lose a lot of your workers because they didn't like, and you shoved people through.
Well, the reason I'm saying I think we need to pump the brakes and not be in a rush is that this board should not set itself up to be accused of rushing an
Right.
appointment.
I agree. I agree.
We need to take the time, find who the board, the sitting board at the time believes is the best candidate. I think you, I think if you are seeking a bunch of employee input, you're also then, you're stirring up a lot of emotion that doesn't need to be there.
I agree.
But nobody would know what's on there that's written,
You're-
because you don't know.
You're presuming the worst
They know
case
what else.
scenario. That,
Well,
At least
What-
gives you an idea.
okay, but then you have an employee that says, well, they didn't listen to me, so I'm leaving. And yes,
You
there
will
are.
have that, you will have that, no matter who you have, that
Well,
always
but-
happens in
so-
every place.
I know, so I think we find what we believe is the best candidate, we make the job, offer. Maybe that candidate says, you know what, I've rethought it, I don't wanna do it.
I know.
Mhm.
There's no, listen, there's, hiring today is entirely,
I agree.
I've had a position posted for almost a month and I have
agree. No,
zero police applicants, certified police applicants.
But then you can at least say that was the case versus not doing that. And I think that's important.
Well, okay, so I don't have a problem with this except for the timeline part.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
Because I
said.
think we, and.
I agree.
Okay,
And are we
You're all
good on
numbered.
a special committee?
yes,
Okay,
and I would agree with you that I think it needs to be one representative from each county.
and then let them decide this stuff.
And honestly, we don't know who's going to be on
Yes.
this board in January. We don't. Emmett County could send two different people, Otsego County could send two different people, Charlevoix County, if I'm still the board chair, isn't going to, because I don't wanna disrupt the knowledge base, like how we talked about. It takes, this is, the health department itself is like a whole different commission position. You learn your own county, and then you pick up what the health department does, and the health department is every bit as big as most of our
Bigger.
counties, or bigger.
Bigger?
Mhm.
You have hundred and fifty employees, give or take.
Right,
Charlevoix County has 220, I think. I don't know how many Antrim has. I don't know how many Otsego has. But it's like another elected position.
It is.
So let's just, let me restate, I don't wanna see Dan go. But Dan's made a decision for his life that I fully support. And, we just need to, the sky is not falling, there's no need to panic. We march through this, we have a process. We,
So will you make, so we, under the health officer recruitment process, will you make a motion that says we are going to support this process with a special committee, one from each county?
yeah, I'll make that motion. Did you get all that now?
Instead of the.
And
So you're gonna-
with
Committee, we're
with the
gonna do a
discussion
special
and
committee.
approval of the full board.
Right,
right. So you're gonna recommend that a special committee be the
yeah,
hiring committee, right? And then you would have to select the members,
Right.
yes.
right? And I think I put
I
a
think
proposed motion in the
We'll draw
packet.
straws.
I put a proposed motion in the packet based on that, and then you just have to insert the names
Okay,
Okay,
in
so,
the regular board of health meeting packet,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Do we have a
Oh.
second?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'll second.
Henry seconds, all in
Move
favor,
second.
say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Are we appointing an interim today or no? That doesn't need to be
I
added.
don't know.
Well, you're just gonna fudge it.
Well, it's either,
Probably,
I think this committee will have to.
The
decide
committee
all that
will
stuff.
decide.
I think it either has to be today or at the next meeting, because I'll be here
Yeah,
till
definitely.
November.
well,
So-
and what we have to have also is not just appointment of the interim, but we have to have approval from the state.
Right, you're right. That would have to happen.
Right,
They have to approve who we appoint as an interim.
This
Correct.
committee's
And-
gonna
and
need a
just-
lot.
yeah, just so you,
No,
You know,
And-
so-
we can
just
bump it out.
the approval for, it's the like the. It pretty much, the qualifications are pretty loose for interim. It's on a 6 month basis.
Mhm.
When you do it, when you do that. So there's not gonna be a problem. I don't think
No, I know, but
there.
there's letters that go back.
There's
and forth
letters that go
I
back
have
and
to
forth.
sign, And
Yes,
that the state has to
exactly.
sign
Right.
to approve the I was just talking on a rabbit trail. Will you accept the interim spot if it's offered to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I think the board can make the decision to, select the interim, the letter sent to the state. It doesn't have to happen before that, letter sent to the state and then the letter comes back, saying given the approval.
Right.
And then, the qualifications for health officer, which are in the job posting and job description, that's a whole different ballgame. Because it's either your full appointment or provisional, so someone could theoretically get selected by the committee that doesn't have all the qualifications. And they may say, well, you have 3 years to go get a master's degree in public health,
Right.
right? And then someone would have to decide if they want to do that or not. So,
I've already had somebody reach out to me that listened to your interview with Benzie Wheelan on and said, when can I apply?
mhm.
I mean,
Really?
yes. There's folks out there who are interested in the position. Well, but there are folks out there. That was a shot. Come on, you guys,
Yeah.
wake up.
Yeah,
Never
yeah, thanks for that.
Anyway,
Let me have another.
but yeah, there will be applicants, so let's, let the process play itself out.
Not the same ballpark as the city police chief.
Okay, does anybody else have anything else?
Well-
Okay. Did you say something? Dave?
I was just gonna say, do we want to look at give a recommendation regarding the posting or the
I think
description?
the board.
Or do you want to wait on that?
I think the board should discuss.
I thought it was,
the rest of it.
it's the job description that we generated last time, and I don't
Yeah.
think it's changed.
No, it has not changed.
Right.
I just don't know.
I don't think that should be up to us. I think it should be up to this committee or the whole board. Me personally.
Well, what's
The
your
job
rec-
description?
Yeah. It should be either that
Well-
special committee or the whole board.
Well, this committee approved and then the full board approved the job description that's in place right now.
Yeah,
So I think, I guess, given what you're saying, you want the special committee to determine when the job is gonna
I
get
think they should
posted and,
decide all that stuff. I don't,
well, then that would have to be in their charge, I guess, if that was.
I think we should. I think we should decide it all,
I think, well,
except for the interviews.
I think the
We got half
position,
this committee going.
I think the position needs to get posted today.
Talk about it. Anyway.
Yeah, we can talk, but we're
Because
sharing
they're gonna be
opinions.
on a committee that I'm not, and who knows? Henry, are you gonna
Okay.
be on the special committee or do you want John?
It scares me.
I don't have time. That's what I mean. I don't,
Okay,
this committee, there's not enough of us, is what I'm saying.
okay. We'll
So-
talk about it in the full board
I
meeting.
think we should.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, and we have. The job posting is all the board members, they have it, so,
okay.
yeah, and it pretty much mirrors the job description, which you guys have had for a while.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
okay. 9:28.
Dang it, that means I've got to really bust the next board meeting to beat your 28 minutes.
Will you be here at the next meeting or are you still working?